to last, but definitely not least, the game of the divisional round. That is the Buffalo Bills. They are at Buffalo this time, so different than before. They are favored by 2.5 points, hosting the Kansas City Chiefs. And of course, like I alluded to, and like I'm sure many have seen if you're scrubbing through social media, first, Mahomes road game. So we'll see how that factors in. I'll have to check the weather. Not that it'll matter for these two quarterbacks and teams because they're both used to this, so I'm not even going to check it. So who do you have here, John, and for how much?
I'm going to be going with the Buffalo Bills. I just think that in terms of this matchup, I trust the Bills offense more than I trust the Chiefs at this point. I mean, the Chiefs, it feels like they're somewhat predictable in terms of, all right, Kelsey, he's not as impactful as he once was. We're going to get Rashee Rice involved quite a bit and try to, maybe establish the run with Pacheco, but I still don't fully feel like they're committed to the run. And for that reason, I think that, I don't know, maybe this turns into a little bit of a passing game. And I just don't think that they have what it takes to overcome Buffalo's balance. So I'm taking the Bills here. I certainly am not counting out the Chiefs. Like I said, I don't view this game as an upset, even though they're considered the underdogs. But I do think it's a little interesting that the Bills are only 2.5 point favorites, because this would indicate that they're basically completely even on a neutral field. And I just don't personally agree with that. I think the Buffalo would have the edge in that regard. I think I would personally put this line at like a 3.5, 4. Because I don't know. I just think that I trust Buffalo's passing attack with, the James Cook stuff, the Stephon Diggs stuff, even the Kincaid stuff. I trust that a lot more than I do Kansas City's attack, which, like I said, I think is just a little bit more predictable in the ways that they're going to try and beat you. Where Buffalo, it could be on the ground, it could be through the air, it could just be Josh Allen taking a run 60 yards to the house. So, yeah, I'm taking Buffalo to get the edge here for, once again, the even 400 standard bet.
All right, well, we have a second disagreement here. I'm going with Kansas City. This is one where I'm happy to get the points because I could easily see Buffalo winning, but if they do, I feel like it's going to be close. If not, I feel like Chiefs, could pull off the upset, of course. I think Chiefs' defense is in a better state right now than Buffalo's defense, especially considering, Buffalo's had some injuries last week. Terrell Bernard and a couple of their other corners got hurt. Trying to pull up the injury report because I'm blanking on. But Christian Benford, he was kind of a fill-in corner already. He got banged up. Taylor Rapp as well, and Gabe Davis hasn't been there for a couple of weeks. So just another offensive weapon that the Bills may not have, and a couple of key defensive guys that they rely on. I know that's just a good story with AJ Klein, stepping in on short notice. But against the Chiefs, I feel like, especially with the Chiefs leaning more into the run game. And once again, these two teams met obviously a couple of weeks or a month or so ago, right? And that was the Kadarius Toney lined up off sides. Buffalo. That was like when Buffalo was just going through, like it was like a week or two removed from changing offensive coordinator, so their style was still relatively new to the Chiefs. And outside like I think the first quarter, Buffalo scored or first half, I think Buffalo scored the 2 touchdowns. After that, Kansas City kind of settled into what they were doing, and I just feel like Kansas City will have a better plan of attack there, I feel. And on the flip side, their offense, at least, I know it's a little simplistic, but it's much better, more buttoned up than it was then. It feels like, especially we mentioned I think last time, where wish they'd be more patient with the run. Well, they've been more patient, and they do have a healthier Isaiah Pacheco too potentially, and I just feel like they'll lean more into that, and I think they're kind of embracing this little underdog aspect. And for Buffalo, I just think unfortunately it's maybe a time where the defense lets them down yet again, maybe a little bit, but it'll be an interesting matchup. I hope it's as good. Probably won't be because that other, that divisional round game was legendary and crazy. I don't think it'll be as good as that one, but I do anticipate this to be a close, competitive game throughout, and may just come down to like the last one, who has the ball last, really. So, may throw all the analysis out the window and just wait and see who gets the ball last. So, it'll be another chapter in that, which should be a great rivalry between those two quarterbacks and teams, as long as they play those teams respectively. So, once again, John, putting 400 on the Bills to cover that 2.5 points, so they got to win by 3 or more. While I'm putting 200 on the Chiefs to lose by 2 and or pull off the upset and win. And once again, not our money. None of this is our actual money because we're not built like that. So we're not crazy like that because nonetheless, those are our picks for the divisional round. Anything else you want to throw in and add before we call it there?
Nope. That's it.
Right. I know we got a bunch of head coaching carousel stuff, but like it's one of those tough things where like we're not insiders, so it's just more speculation. And especially, because oddly enough, I'm surprised no one's already got out. I felt like this time last year, teams were already starting to, hire their new guys, the ones that were letting go old.
I mean, the Patriots did.
Yeah, okay. They finally did withdrawn Mayo. They finally. Okay.
Yeah.
Because okay, well, good for the Patriots. At least they oddly enough they were one of the last ones to let go of But I guess that goes to the Patriots and Robert Kraft, where I guess they had a plan in place. That's what took them a little bit longer, maybe.
Yeah.
While other teams.
And I know like the Chargers and the Falcons have already announced that they've interviewed like 9 different people or something. So who knows? They could hire somebody in the coming days.
Both announced that they've made public.
Both announced Harbaugh. Yeah.
We'll see. It's very interesting, the whole Harbaugh situation, but we'll see what happens. Because we'll let the chips fall, and then we'll analyze from there, as opposed to wasting time, pissing in the wind, as some would say, and just speculating, because we could speculate for hours here. But all right, well, that would do it for us in regards to divisional round and our picks/bets against spread. As always, feel free to rate, review, subscribe, and such. But that'll do it for John and myself. We'll be back next week. Obviously, share our thoughts and reactions to the divisional round, and hopefully, we'll see if my Packers are still playing with house money, or we eventually get.
If you guys beat the Niners, I'm picking y'all to go to the Super Bowl.
It would be crazy though if they do line up against the Bucks again, and then now the Bucks are like our new demon.
Would that? I mean, take your bias out of it. Would that be the worst conference championship matchup?
I think it would be a very disappointing one. I think
not in terms of like I don't know how entertaining the game would be, but just like a 7th seed and the 4th seed is your conference
4th seed from the division that everyone hated going into playoffs, the NFC South that everyone's like,
was literally a couple games removed from potentially having a losing record again because their division champion last year was Bucks with a losing record.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it definitely would not get many. I think ratings wise, the ratings would be down. The ratings would definitely be down there because Sanford, especially. I
think people would be slamming whoever wins the AFC to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, which by the way, I do want to note too, like San Francisco, the last hope for the West Coast. Like other than that, it's all a bunch of like really. I mean, those like Kansas City and Houston are more like kind of centralized, but like Baltimore, Green Bay, even Detroit, there's a more northern, and then like Tampa Bay is obviously. Florida, so that's East Coast, and then Buffalo same. So San Francisco, last hope for the West Coast, West Coasters there, even though most of these games are slated towards East Coast timing, because I know like people are upset about as the Bills Chiefs starts at like 6:30 Eastern time on a Sunday. So anyhow, we don't control the scheduling, so we'll see what happens there, but that would be crazy. But hey, even if we lose, I know I'm gonna. It's not. I don't want to be this person, but even if we lose, hey, we went farther than I expected.
I mean, so the fact that y'all made the playoffs was already, I think, a win, and then like embarrass the Cowboys, like I think that's a great.
And I mean, once again, I feel like we should do this maybe next year. Like, hey, like what's the season? Realistic season goal. I know every team's goal is to win the Super Bowl, but some teams that's not really your goal. I will say, in regards to that, like at least our goal was, all right, is Jordan Love the guy, and what other pieces do we have? Can we build around? And I think Jordan Love has at least bought another year or two of, okay, he's probably the guy. Let's keep building, and we got some other good pieces, even if
He hasn't proved he's like Aaron Rodgers yet, but you feel very confident. Like, let's give him the contract extension. Let's see what he is.
Let's keep building.
Let's give him a couple years.
You at least got that confidence going forward, which as many teams can attest to. Man, they wish they could have that confidence going forward anyway. So regardless, we won San Francisco, even if you blow us out, 60-0 on Sunday. So anyhow. That'll do it for John and myself. Like I said, as always, with rate, review, and such. And we'll see you all next week. Recap of the division.